Jayom Vishnupad Paramahansa Parivrajacharya Ashtajarasata Sri Srimad A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki. ISKCON Founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada Ki. BBT Founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada Ki. Food for Life Founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada Ki. Protector of the Cows Gauraksha Founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada Ki. Anantakoti Vaishnav Vrinda Ki. Namacharya Thakur Haridas Ki. Prem Sakaho Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Srivas Adi Gaur Bhaktivinoda Ki. Sri Sri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopinath Shama Kund Radha Kund Giri Govardhana Ki. Sri Vrindavan Dhama Ki. Sri Mayapur Dhama Ki. Sri Jagannath Puri Katra Ki. Sri Jamuna Mai Ki. Sri Ganga Mata Ki. Srimati Bhakti Devi Ki. Srimati Tulsi Maharani Ki. Harinam Sankirtan Ki. Gaur Premanande. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. Jai Sri Sri Guru Gauranga Hari Hari Bol.
Shri Guru Vandana, the lotus feet of our spiritual master, the only way virtues can attain pure devotional service. I bow down to his lotus feet with great honor and reverence. By his grace, one can cross the ocean of material suffering and obtain the mercy of Krishna. My only wish is to have my consciousness purified by the words emanating from his lotus Dhamma. Attachment to his lotus feet is the perfection that fulfills all desires. He opens my heart to nice and fills my heart with transcendental knowledge. He is my Lord, earth after earth, from whom ecstatic prema emanates, by him ignorance is destroyed. The great scriptures sing of his character. Our spiritual master is the ocean of mercy, the friend of the poor and the Lord master of devotees. O Master, be merciful unto us. Give us the shade of the lotus feet. Remain famous by all the holy heroes. Take shelter of the lotus feet.
Prabhupada Ki.
Jai. place for handies.
Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Vihari Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Jana Ranjana Jaya Braja Jana Ranjana Yashodana Braja Jana Ranjana Jaya Braja Jana Ranjana Jaya Jamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Kunja Vihari Jaya Jamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Kunja Vihari Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Srila Prabhupada ki. Thank you very much, everyone, for inviting me to come to this Zurich temple. And we're very happy to be here. And I hope that during my stay here, I'll be able to give a little inspiration to people to enliven them and keep them fixed more and more in Krishna consciousness. So that is what Srila Prabhupada wants us to do, is to continue the parampara system to the next generation, and you carry it on to the next generation after that. Hare Krishna, for the benefit of all humanity. So we're continuing our study of Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, 4th canto, chapter 22, text number 32, is it?
57.
Sorry?
57.
Okay, I'm just going by the red marker. Here's another marker. 39. What is it, 57?
57.
There's no marker for 57. Oh, here, this. Okay. 57, I found it. Excuse me. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 Narayanam Namaskritya
Narayanam Namaskritya
Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam
Devim Saraswatim Vyasam
Tato Jayo Mudirayet Nashtapraye Svabhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavat Yuttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naistiki Om Jnanatimirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshur Unmilitam Yena Tasmai Sri Guruve Namaha Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langhayate Girim Yat Kripa Tamaham Bande Sri Gurun Dinatarinam Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya evacha Patitanang Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Shivas Adi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama, Hare Rama,
Hare Rama, Hare Rama,
Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Rama, Hare Hare.
Durdarshasteja Sevagnir,
Durdarshasteja Sevagnir,
Durdarshasteja Sevagnir,
Durdarshasteja Sevagnir,
Mahendra Iva Durjaya,
Mahendra Iva Durjaya,
Titikshaya Daritriva, Dhayor Iva Vishtadonridam, Durdarshasteja Sevagnir,
Durdarshasteja Sevagnir,
Mahendra Iva Durjaya, Titikshaya Daritriva, Dhayor Iva Vishtadonrinam, Durdarshasteja Sevagnir, Mahendra Iva Durjaya, Titikshaya Daritriva, Dhayor Iva Vishtadonrinam.
Durdarshasteja Sevagnir,
Durdarshasteja Sevagnir,
Mahendra Iva Durjaya,
Mahendra Iva Durjaya,
Titikshaya Daritriva,
Titikshaya Daritriva,
Dyaurdiva Vishtadonrinam,
Dyauriva Vishtadonrinam.
Vaishnavis,
Durdarshasteja Sevagnir,
Durdarshasteja Sevagnir,
Mahendra Iva Durjaya,
Mahendra Iva Durjaya,
Titikshaya Daritriva,
Titikshaya Daritriva,
Dyauriva Vishtadonrinam,
Dyauriva Vishtadonrinam.
Durdarsha, unconquerable, Tejasa, by prowess, Eva, like, Agni, fire, Maha Indra, the king of heaven, Eva, likened, Durjaya, inseparable, Titikshaya, by tolerance, Daritri, the earth, Eva, like, Dio, the heavenly planets, Eva, like, Abhishtada, fulfilling desires, Nrinam, of human society. Translation by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Maharaj Prithu was so strong and powerful that no one could disobey his orders any more than one could conquer fire itself. He was so strong that he was compared to Indra, the king of heaven, whose power is insuperable. On the other hand, Maharaj Prithu was also as tolerant as the earth, and in fulfilling various desires of human society, he was like heaven itself. Srila Prabhupada's purport. It is the duty of a king to give protection to the citizens and to fulfill their desires. At the same time, the citizens must obey the laws of the state. Maharaj Prithu maintained all the standards of good government, and he was so invincible that no one could disobey his orders any more than a person could stop heat and light emanating from a fire. He was so strong and powerful that he was compared to the king of heaven, Indra. In this age, modern scientists have been experimenting with nuclear weapons, and in a former age, they used to release Brahmastras, but all of these Brahmastras and nuclear weapons are insignificant compared to the thunderbolt of the king of heaven. When Indra releases a thunderbolt, even the biggest hills and mountains crack. On the other hand, Maharaj Prithu was as tolerant as the earth itself, and he fulfilled all the desires of his citizens, just like torrents of rain from the sky. Without rainfall, it is not possible to fulfill one's various desires on this planet. As stated in Bhagavad Gita 3:14, Parjanyad anna sambhava, food grains are produced only because rain falls from the sky. And without grains, no one on the earth can be satisfied. Consequently, an unlimited distribution of mercy is compared to the water falling from the clouds. Maharaj Prithu distributed his mercy incessantly, much like rainfall. In other words, Maharaj Prithu was softer than a rose flower and harder than a thunderbolt. In this way, he ruled over his kingdom. So this reminds me of the Gurvastakam that we sing, Samsaradava nalalita loka, that this material world, it burns like fire, and it can never be extinguished except when a huge rain cloud comes, a monsoon rain cloud, and pours rain on the fire. Then the forest fire can go out. Otherwise, what men can do with their little buckets, throw water on a huge forest fire. So the rain clouds are considered to be the mercy. We're receiving the mercy of Indra, or we can, as Vaishnavas, we can say we're receiving the mercy of Sri Krishna when the rains come. Because without rains, the farmers are in great anxiety. They cannot grow their crops. Therefore, they cannot support their families, nor can they feed the citizens of that area. So everyone suffers when there's no rain. Then the material world burns like fire, and everyone's hungry, starving. There's no food. But when the rains come, there's abundant food. So the clouds, they're called the clouds of mercy. So then everyone becomes satisfied. So Prabhupada even says here, without rainfall, it is not possible to fulfill one's various desires on this planet. We have so many desires, but if there's no rain, there's scorching heat, and nothing's growing, and the land becomes like a desert, then where's the question of enjoying anything? You're just struggling to survive, struggling to stay alive. So therefore, Prabhupada explains, without rainfall, it is not possible to fulfill one's various desires on this planet. So we should be very thankful when the rain's coming, because that allows life to go on smoothly in the material world. So Prithu Maharaj here is also compared to the rain cloud. He's fulfilling the various desires of the citizens in human society because he's supplying all the necessities of life to the citizens. The arrangements are made that everyone can live their life happily with enough food, clothing, and shelter to be happy. So Maharaj Prithu, he was such a ruler. So such a ruler is known as a great king. Like a Raja Rishi. Not only a great king, but also like a great saint, a great saintly king. So Maharaj Prithu was a Raja Rishi. And he was very powerful in every facet of life as a Kshatriya. He knew his dharma, and he performed everything perfectly, strongly, to give protection to the citizens, to give shelter to the citizens, and to fulfill the desire of the citizens. And that's what a leader has to do. Otherwise, you're not a leader. You're a follower. So we need leaders. Prabhupada wanted that ISKCON should train up leaders so that we could lead human society, because the conditioned souls are in complete illusion. They don't have a clue, not even an inkling of reality. And they're just sitting in the lap of the witch called Maya, without any clue of reality. And so Lord Chaitanya is calling, Jeev Jago, wake up sleeping souls, wake up sleeping souls. Please come to your senses and realize that you're Nitya Krishna Das, you're the servant of the Lord. So the leaders have to give this information to society, to the citizens. So Maharaj Prithu was also giving this knowledge, this understanding. He was giving everything to the citizens so that their life was happy and they could fulfill their desires. Of course, excuse me, of course for devotees, all our desires are linked to Krishna. So we don't have just Indriya Tripti desires, just to satisfy the senses, but our desires are to satisfy the Lord. So, going back to the Guru Vastakam, Chaturvidha Sri Bhagavat Prasado, Svadvana Triptam Hari Bhakta Sangan. The spiritual master is very happy to see the devotees enjoying Mahaprasad together, Hari Bhakta Sangam, in the Sangha of each other, not alone. But he's very happy seeing everyone taking prasad together. This is, we may be very hungry, and my desire is to eat. My stomach is grumbling. I'm feeling irritable. But then we all take Mahaprasad together. We satisfy the desires of the body, because the body has to be taken care of. So there's 4 things that Prabhupada wrote down when he was asked this question, what is the most important things in devotional service? So Prabhupada said, I will write it down and post it. So after that class, he wrote it down and he posted it on the door of the kitchen. So what is the number 1 most important thing in devotional service? Who knows?
Good health.
Yes, good health. Because if we don't have good health, we can't do anything. I remember having malaria in India, and you can't do anything except lie in bed. You can't even chant japa because your mind is so disturbed. First you get chills, you're freezing. It's 40 degrees outside and you're freezing and you want more blankets, and then the fever comes. And then you're so hot, it's intolerable. So the most important thing is keeping good health. Then we can do devotional service. If your body is sick, if your body is weak, how you can do service? So we have to keep a strong, fit body. And we do that by following the programs. We eat prasad. We go out, do Harinam Sankirtan for the benefit of others. We dance and chant in the kirtan. So all these things keep us in good health. What's the second most important thing in devotional service? Sorry? I can't hear. Sadhana, no. Second most important thing in devotional service is chanting the Maha Mantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, day and night, 24 hours. So we start off the day just by singing to the deities and by chanting our japa, chanting in the kirtan. And Prabhupada described that this morning program, what we call the morning program, it builds the fire of devotion in our heart. But then, if during the day you don't carry on in devotional service with the rest of the program, and in the evening the rest of the program, what Prabhupada called the ISKCON sandwich, the morning program, the evening program, and going out to distribute the holy name to the conditioned souls. That's the ISKCON sandwich. But if we don't have an evening program, we don't have an ISKCON sandwich. If we don't go out in Harinam Sankirtan or book distribution, we don't have an ISKCON sandwich. So if we only have the morning program, Prabhupada explained, we build the fire of devotion during the morning, and during the day, we're pouring water on that fire. Because we're thinking of different things that may not have to do with devotional service. We're doing things that may not have to do with devotional service. So you build the fire, pour the water. Build the fire, pour the water. Build the fire, pour the water. Every day you build the fire. Every afternoon and night you pour the water. Can you make advancement that way?
No.
No way. That's why we see people after so many years still in the square one. We have to do the full program. So that's 24 hours chanting the holy name. So how can we chant the holy name 24 hours? Well, we start by doing it while we're awake. So we're always thinking of the holy name. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Whatever service you're doing, whatever it is, in your mind, you can always be chanting. In fact, what I do now, because of my age, I realize that very soon the final moment will come when the body is completely incapacitated and all you have left is your mind. We have to make our mind a devotee. Everybody likes to make devotees, but the most important devotee you have to make is your mind. If your mind becomes a devotee, spiritual life is easy. But if your mind is not a devotee, if your mind is meditating on so many other things, then devotional service can be a struggle. Making advancement can be a struggle because we're all struggling against our mind. So we have to make our mind a devotee. So chanting the holy name is the second most important thing. So we can chant japa, we can chant kirtan, but we can also chant in our mind. Cleaning the temple room floor, in my mind I'm going Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Cooking, same thing. Going up the stairs, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Every step you take is the name of the Lord. When you're walking on the street, Hare Krishna, just in your mind. Or you can do it out loud. I do it in my mind because I want to make my mind a devotee. My mind has to become a Vaishnava. Because at the end of this life, when the body is paralyzed or dead, the last thing you have left is your mind, and that's when your mind has to go to the Maha Mantra, and not anything else, what you've been thinking about for your whole life. So we have to make Krishna number one, because he says, make me number one. Sarva dharman parityaja. Forget all those other dharmas I've been talking about in the Bhagavad Gita. Mam ekang sharanam raja. Make me number one. Mam, me, ekang number one. Sharanam, surrender to it. Vraja, wherever you go. Well, when you go somewhere, you're taking steps. So wherever you go means every step you take. Not just when you go on Tirtha Parikrama, but when you go from one room to another, every step you take, make Krishna number one. Just Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. And I remember Srila Prabhupada in a class in 1975 in Los Angeles. He was saying, so we must become fixed up. Fixed up means solid. Solid devotional service. No gaps for Maya to come in. No holes like your Swiss cheese. Your cheese in Switzerland has holes. Solid. No Swiss cheese, no holes in our devotional service. And then he said, there's nothing new under the sun. You have had so many births. And in all those births, you have seen everything. You have tasted everything. You have done everything. There's nothing new under the sun. And then he said, so, whenever Prabhupada wanted to make a strong point, he would say, so, finish up your business in the material world. And he went like this. He said, so now finish up your business in the material world and go back home, back to Godhead in this life. So I took that seriously. I was sitting right there. And I took it that he was speaking directly to me. Because we should be thinking that way. When we hear Harikatha, when we hear Bhagavad Gita, we should think this is meant for me. When Krishna is speaking to Arjuna, we should think this is meant for me. When Sukadeva Goswami is speaking to Maharaj Parikshit, you should think this is meant for me. Because it's meant for everybody. And since you're included in everybody, therefore it's meant for you. Clear?
Yes.
Yes.
So here Maharaj Parikshit, he was taking the position of like a guru. He was doing everything for the citizens. Although he was the most powerful king, he took the position of Das, 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 Anudas, servant of the servant of the servant of the Praja, the citizens. Trinadopi sunichena, taroriva sahishnena, amanina manadena, kirtaniya sadahari. So it's explained here that Prithu Maharaj, he was so humble, he was serving the devotees, the citizens, and fulfilling the various desires of everyone in human society. Prabhupada says here, Maharaj Prithu was also as tolerant as the earth. He was as tolerant as the earth, or as Lord Chaitanya says, as tolerant as the tree. And by fulfilling the various desires of human society, he was as humble as the grass. But yet he was the most powerful. No one could challenge him. Sometimes we think that humility means like this. But that's actually low self-esteem. Prabhupada was the most humble of all Vaishnavas. And you see the pictures of him? He's always like this, head up high, never like this, like this. I'm proud to be a devotee of Krishna. Strong, forceful. I'm the servant of the Lord for the benefit of others. I have my duty, I have to do it for the benefit of others. Janma sarta korikora poro upakar, Lord Chaitanya said. If you want to perfect your life, you can only perfect your life by doing service for the benefit of others. Because when you do service for the benefit of yourself, which is what every other person in the entire world is doing. In every country, in every city, everyone's working for their own benefit and their lives are perfect? Yes or no? No, their lives are a mess. But the rishis, the saints, the acharyas, the pure devotees, their life is always meant for the service of others, for the benefit of others. Are their lives perfect?
Yes.
There's the proof. So we have to follow this. Become as tolerant as a tree or as tolerant as the earth, and fulfill the various desires of everyone, which means you work for their benefit. We go out in the streets to distribute books for their benefit. We go out to chant the holy names of the Lord for their benefit. We're not thinking, I'm doing it for my benefit. That's an offense. I don't go out in the street and distribute books and I'm thinking it's for my benefit. That's an offense. That's the 8th offense. Who knows what's the 8th offense? You have to know the offenses because you have to know yama and niyama. You have to know what to do and what not to do. So to consider that this process of devotional service is one of the ritualistic activities as mentioned in the Vedas, karma kanda, that's an offense. It's because it's business. If I do something to get a result for myself, that's called business. But if I do something for the benefit of others, what's that called? Loving devotional service, right? Hello? Anybody here? We have to be, I'll tell you something else that Prabhupada taught me. He once said in one class, I was sitting there, fortunately I was able to attend a lot of Prabhupada's classes. So he was speaking, then all of a sudden he said, so, don't be Krishna unconscious. I'd never heard the phrase Krishna unconscious before, so I was really alert. He said, first become conscious, then you can become Krishna conscious. We have to become conscious that we're dealing with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. We're dealing with the Lord. We have to become conscious that we're spirit soul. We have to become conscious that I'm Das, 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 Anudas, the servant of the servant of the servant of the Lord. We have to become conscious that everyone else is Prabhu, my Prabhu. I'm his servant, he's my Prabhu. This was the mood of Maharaj Prithu, even though he was the king. This was the mood of Srila Prabhupada, and I saw it so many times. He took such humble position. There's an interesting story in Paris. Prabhupada was preaching the morning program during the class, and he was saying that we have to do our service and we have to become mild-mannered devotees, gentle, trinadapi sunichina. We have to become humble devotees. So later that day, there was a program arranged. Was this Paris or was it in Switzerland, in Geneva? I can't remember now. But anyway, it was one of these places. They spoke French there. And the devotees had arranged a nice hall and everything, but when Prabhupada arrived, there was no Vyasasan, there was no flowers, there was no nothing. So Prabhupada became angry. He said, what is this? Why you have not prepared? So there was a new bhakta, a new devotee, who had attended the class. He was coming to the temple. And then he said, but Srila Prabhupada, you said in the class that one should not become angry, that one should chant Hare Krishna, always. Prabhupada immediately started chanting Hare Krishna. He put his hand in his bead bag and started chanting Hare Krishna. That is humility. A new bhakta is instructing the Jagat Guru, and he's accepting it because he's Das, 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 Anudas. I have so many other Leelas of Srila Prabhupada, the shows that he was always in the mood of Das, 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 Anudas, even though he was the founder Acharya. And so Maharaj Prithu also. So we have to become leaders. ISKCON is meant to develop leaders, not to develop sheep, followers. Followers can't help society. Leaders can help society. Everyone has to be trained up to become a leader. Because society right now is in the worst shape that they've ever been before. Things are going from bad to worse, from worse to even more worse. Kali Yuga is getting heavier and heavier. And I can see just in my own lifetime, when I was a child many, many years ago, to now, it's become so much more degraded. And it's only going to get worse. And we have to lead the conditioned souls. We have to give them some hope, some shelter, like Maharaj Prithu is giving. So Maharaj Prithu, he maintained all the standards of good leadership. We should also be like that. And a good leader, of course, is always the best follower in parampara of all the acharyas. He's following all the instructions, and therefore he's a leader. If we don't follow, then how we can lead? So we have to become the acharya. We inspire people by our own example. We have to come to this level. We may not be at this level, but we have a goal. And we try to reach that goal by chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So that's the second most important thing in devotional service, is chanting the holy name so that you become purified. That's the third most important thing. That's the fourth. The third most important thing is going out and distributing this knowledge to others. Prabhupada taught me what is the definition of a thief. A thief is someone who takes the property that belongs to somebody else and keeps it for his own benefit. So Prabhupada taught me, he said that this knowledge comes from Krishna. It belongs to Krishna. And we're passing it down in parampara. But if you keep it for yourself, for your own benefit, the knowledge that belongs to Krishna, you're keeping for your own benefit. You have the mentality of a thief. But when you take that knowledge and you share it with others, you have the mentality of a sadhu. And that's why Prabhupada told me in a personal darshan in 1976 in Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam in November. So many things he said, but he finally summed everything up, as Prabhupada always does. So, wherever you go and whomsoever you meet, you share with them this knowledge that you have received from me. And in this way, they will benefit and you will benefit. And by the order of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, this is how you become Guru. That's what Prabhupada said. So let's take that seriously. He didn't say go out and preach. He said share. Go out and share this knowledge with others. Share. Because sharing means caring. So we have to care. If you don't care about somebody, why would you go out and do anything for them? You know what I mean? If you think they're all karmis, they're maya, they're disgusting, why would you go out and preach to them or try to do anything for them? You have to actually care and see that they're the same as you, das, 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 anudas. They're only in illusion, the same illusion that we were all in before we met the devotees. You know, in the Vedic understanding of social structure, the lowest form of human life is the Chandala. Because they're dog eaters. But even lower than a dog eater is a cow eater. And you were all cow eaters. We were all cow eaters. Even the demons wouldn't eat cows in the Vedic understanding because they all understood this is Gomata. We're taking her milk. From that we get dahi, we get ghee, we get everything. But to kill and eat a cow, that is even lower than killing a dog and eating it. So we come from the lowest of the low. And we've been saved by the mercy of Srila Prabhupada. Now we have to share that with others. Otherwise we have the mentality of a thief. We're just taking it for our own benefit. Is that going to get the mercy of Krishna?
No.
No. When you go out and share with others, will you get the mercy of Krishna? That's what it says in this verse. Maharaj Parikshit, he was doing everything, Maharaj Prithu was doing everything for the benefit of the citizens, and he was like a rain cloud of mercy. And he was empowered by the Lord. So we can become empowered by the Lord also, but we have to take that position as servant of the servant of the servant. See everyone as Prabhu. Because that's our constitutional position. Constitutional position means this is your true reality, your true position eternally. In the material world, in the spiritual world, you are das, 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 anudas. And when you're not in your constitutional position, when you're not situated as das, 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 anudas, what is the Sanskrit word for that?
Godasa.
What?
Godasa.
The Sanskrit word for that is Maya. Maya. You're either in your right situation or you're in Maya. You're either servant of the servant of the servant or you're in Maya. There's only two possibilities. So let's become servant of the servant. Follow in the footsteps of Maharaj Prithu and all the acharyas. He's one of the Mahajans, one of the great acharyas in our line. Let's follow in his footsteps. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much. Any questions or comments? Can you hand the mic back to that nice devotee?
Thank you, Prabhu, for lecture, inspiring lecture.
And the fourth point that Prabhupada said was most important was studying the books, which is what we're doing now, studying the books. So this is the fourth most important.
Yes, thank you. And what you can do if you think like we're not ready to preach, to go out, if you feel that we need something more to know, to we don't feel inspired, we feel like we have fallen and something like this. What we should do? Should we go out still or maybe something else?
Okay, what's that question? What should we do? Should we go out or what? What's the other alternative?
I don't know, maybe if I feel I'm not ready, maybe I need something to do. I need to do some service, to purify myself, to mature my faith.
Krishna Prema Rupa, I didn't hear properly. What's he saying?
I also didn't properly understood the last part.
If I feel that I'm not ready, what should I do?
The point is that if I feel I'm not ready for preaching, I'm not qualified for preaching.
No one's qualified. What is this thing qualified? When you become qualified, Prabhupada never said I'm qualified. No acharya says I'm qualified. First thing you have to understand is no one is qualified. And it's not based on qualification. Even if you were qualified, it's not based on qualification. It's based on surrender. You just surrender. Mamekam sharanam. Just surrender to the process. You go out and you give a book. You're not qualified to go to someone and give them a book? What is the qualification to hand someone a book? Well, one qualification, you have to be able to stand on your own 2 feet and you have to have 2 arms that work. So you're qualified. Here's what you can do. Some people, they don't like to go out and talk to people in the street. It's not their rasa. But if you have to go out and you just look for someone who seems favorable, and you just say, can you please tell me, do you believe in God? You just ask, excuse me, do you believe in God? And there's only 3 possible answers: yes, no, or I have no idea. No matter what they say, then you say, then you'll love this book, and you give it to them. And then you just say that this book changed my life. This book is amazing. This book brings so much good fortune. Unbelievable things have happened in my life, and I'm just sharing it with you. Simple. Hare Krishna. So no one's qualified. Don't ever think that you have to become qualified. No one's qualified. If we were qualified, we wouldn't be in the material world. We wouldn't have come here. The fact that we're all here means we were disqualified, okay? Now we're again trying to become qualified by taking up the process and surrendering to the process. Not inventing something new, but just following in the footsteps of the previous acharyas. Hare Krishna. Is that okay?
We just need some leaders like you who can encourage not to be in a platform of mind. Because otherwise it's easy to be in a platform of mind. You can say, we can fight different...
I don't think that mic's on.
Yes, on.
There, okay, then speak into it like this, okay? Thank you.
I'm just saying that we need some leaders who will inspire to go out, because it's very easy to be in a platform of mind and just to find some excuses.
It's easy to have a problem with the mind when you go out? Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
You don't have a problem with your mind in the temple?
I don't know.
Here in the temple, your mind is 100% Vaishnava, right? Is that what you're saying?
I would like to...
You go out and you just say, my dear Lord Chaitanya, please send someone that will accept the book. Please help me. I'm here doing service for you. Please help me. And you should see everything as a test, because everything is a test. Everything in life is a test. So if someone comes along who's unfavorable, it's a test. The test is, can you remain Trinada Pisinichana Tarodiva Sahishnana? Can you remain humble and tolerant, even though they may be rude to you or ignore you? Or you may be thinking, you know, I'm out here for 3 hours, not one person has taken a book. But Krishna says, don't be attached to the result. It's right there in the Gita. Just do your service. Don't be attached to the result. If I'm going out there just to get the result, that's the wrong mentality. I'm going out to do service. And when I'm in the right mood, and when I'm asking Lord Chaitanya to help, then the Lord sends nice people. I remember I used to go out to the airport in Los Angeles to do big book distribution. And generally the big book distributors, they like to distribute the books quickly, just one person go to the next like this to get a lot of books out. But I spent more time with each person because I wasn't in the mood of how many books to get out, but just I wanted to give it to someone who actually would value it. So I never had that many books as compared to the big book distributors, the super distributors. But I had a higher percentage of Lakshmi. So the temple president liked me because I was bringing in more money per book than the others. But then I said to him, you know, I would rather go out in a dhoti on the streets just distributing Back to Godhead magazines than being in the airport dressed so that they don't know who you are. Because I want to meet people who are interested in spiritual life. They see that who I am, and if they're willing to talk to me, we can have a real discourse. So every person's unique, every person's different. You have to just find out what's the best thing for you, how you can surrender, go out and distribute the books in a way that works for you, okay? In a way that's pleasing and doesn't disturb you. And after a while, it just becomes normal, going out. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Vaiyasaki Prabhu ki jai.
Jai. Ja, so.
3 times I've been there. You know, we went to Colombo twice, and we went to Jaffna once. You remember the devotee who used to be here and he used to do that? The Janmashtami festivals. Then he went back to Sri Lanka and he opened the temple for Jaffna. Yeah. We went there. We did programs in this temple. So we did there and here. Yeah, so he's developed a nice temple there.
Yeah, that's nice. His wife is still here.
She's here and he's there.
Yeah.
You still have
Talking about Schleifen in Deutschland. Ja, stellen wir
She's a very nice girl. She's a teacher and
She has children?
yeah, they're also in Switzerland.
Yeah. Yeah, for the wife, her children, or everything.
Ist alles wieder montiert und so.
Das Loch ist
When you get married, husband is number 1. As soon as you have a child, husband's number 2.
Kurz mal mit seinem
Ah, ja.
So where do we take Rashad?
Yeah, if you like to take it up, then I can bring it upstairs.
Okay, we can do that. So, there's no schedule, I have no idea the timings or anything, so.
Next time at this
Yeah,
schedule.
so it was okay.
Yeah, it's good.
Okay, Krishna. There's Gopa Kumar turning back home, back to Ghana. We want to follow those footsteps, right? Krishna will be so happy to see us. So, Jai Shri Prabhupada. You want to come up and say hello?
Yeah.
I actually want to ask you a question related that was not concerned with this.
Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Ram Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram 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 Krishna Krishna Hare Ram Krishna 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 Hare Ram Krishna 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 Hare Krishna 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 Hare Ram Ram Krishna Hare Ram Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama Krishna 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 Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama 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 Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama 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 Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama 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 Hare Krishna 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 Hare Rama 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 Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama 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 Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama 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 Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama 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 Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama 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 Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama 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 Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama 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 Hare Krishna Krishna